Welcome to episode 5 in AI Unpacked. We've spent the last few episodes looking at how artificial intelligence is reshaping our world, in our jobs, our daily habits, and the way we communicate. But in this episode, I want to shift the lens, because as much as AI offers incredible opportunity, it also carries profound risks. To paraphrase the legendary Geoffrey Hinton, one of AI's founding fathers, it's not clear to me that we can stop the bad actors from using it for bad things. What happens if AI gets out of hand? What are the ethical dilemmas we're already facing? And how do we balance progress with principles? Let's look at the tough stuff, things like bias, misinformation, surveillance, censorship, job displacement, and the growing divide in the AI community over how we should move forward. The fundamental truth about training AI is that if we put rubbish in, we'll get rubbish out. AI models are trained on data, huge amounts of it. And that data comes from us, from society. It comes from the internet, from books, emails, CCTV footage, and everything in between. And as you might imagine, society isn't exactly a level playing field. If you train an algorithm on biased data, you get a biased algorithm. Let's take facial recognition, for example. Studies have shown that these systems are far more likely to misidentify people of color than white individuals. And that's not a bug. It's a reflection of skewed training data. Or take the kind of models that write essays, answer questions, or even generate dialogue. They can replicate and reinforce stereotypes about gender, about race, about religion. It gets even more troubling when AI is used in high-stakes decisions like predictive policing. If the training data overrepresents certain communities in crime reports, the model will flag those communities as high risk. It doesn't matter if the underlying data reflects over-policing rather than actual crime itself. Fixing this isn't easy. You can't just clean up the data. Bias is baked into our history, our systems, our language. But that doesn't mean we do nothing. Ethical AI starts with diverse data sets, transparency around how systems are trained, and rigorous auditing of outputs. We need multidisciplinary teams, engineers, ethicists, sociologists, and more. Because this isn't just a technical challenge, it's a moral one. It's about accountability. If an AI makes a flawed decision, who is responsible? The developer? The organization using it? The regulator who approved it? These are the kinds of questions we're only just beginning to answer. And the answers will shape everything from law enforcement to hiring practices to who gets approved for a mortgage. Let's move to another big red flag, misinformation. Thanks to AI, it's now possible to create fake content that looks and sounds completely real. We're talking deepfake videos where people appear to say or do things they never did. We're talking synthetic voices so accurate they can mimic your speech patterns after just a few seconds of audio. And it goes further. AI can generate realistic news articles, blog posts, tweets, all in seconds. And once they're out there, it's a race against the clock for human fact-checkers to catch up. Think about the implications for a moment. In an election, a deepfake of a politician saying something outrageous could go viral before it's debunked. During a war, fake footage could escalate tensions or sow panic. And the fact is, these tools are getting better every day. Governments are trying to respond. There are bills being proposed to label AI-generated content. Some platforms have pledged to crack down on deepfakes. But enforcement is still patchy, and bad actors move fast. This is a classic example of technology outpacing regulation, and it raises a tough question. In a world where seeing is no longer believing, how do we protect the truth? We also need to think about education. How do we train the public to spot AI-generated content? Media literacy has never been more important. If we can't trust our own eyes and ears, what anchors us to reality? Next up, let's talk about surveillance. AI is an incredibly powerful tool for tracking, monitoring, and analyzing human behavior. And in some countries, it's already being used for exactly that. In authoritarian regimes, facial recognition cameras track citizens in real time. Predictive algorithms flag potential dissent, social credit systems reward obedience and punish deviation. Even in democratic countries, AI is increasingly used to track consumer habits, monitor workplace productivity, and profile individuals based on their online activity. There's a fine line between safety and control, between convenience and coercion. Do we really understand who is watching us, how they're interpreting our actions, and what happens if the system gets it wrong? Who decides what right looks like? It's not purely about governments. Corporations too are gathering massive amounts of behavioral data through AI. Think of every ad served, every product recommendation, every click tracked. It all feeds the AI loop, and it's becoming harder to opt out. In episode 4, we talked about how AI is reshaping work. There's potential for automation to free us from drudgery, boost productivity, and unlock creative potential. But let's be clear, not everyone will benefit equally. Jobs are and will be displaced. Call centers are being replaced by chatbots. Retail jobs are disappearing thanks to self-checkouts. Designers, coders, copywriters, roles that involve pattern recognition or repetitive tasks are being reshaped or even replaced by AI. And unlike past technical revolutions, this one is moving extremely fast. The gap between disruption and adaptation is shrinking. So what happens to people caught in the middle? One proposed solution is universal basic income, a guaranteed income for all citizens funded perhaps by economic value generated by AI. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is one of the most high-profile advocates of this idea. He talks about a universal AI dividend. But here's the challenge. Who pays for it? How do we distribute it? And will it be enough to counteract the loss of purpose, identity, and dignity that work often provides? These are deep societal questions, and we can't afford to ignore them. We also need to rethink our education systems. Are we preparing young people for an AI-infused world? Do we prioritize creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, the very traits that machines struggle to replicate? Here's something most people don't realize, and even the experts can't agree. Some of the biggest names in AI are deeply divided on what ethical AI should look like. Take Elon Musk. He helped found OpenAI because he was worried about the dangers of unregulated AI. But later he criticized OpenAI for becoming too closed off and too profit-driven. Sam Altman, meanwhile, sees rapid innovation as inevitable and believes the focus should be on alignment and safety research. Geoffrey Hinton, often called the godfather of AI, left Google in 2023 to speak freely about his growing concerns, especially the idea that AI progress might outpace our ability to control it. Then you have others who argue that talk of super intelligent AI is a distraction, that we should focus on immediate dangers, bias, misinformation, and monopolies. These tensions have led to real-world consequences, resignations, new startups with competing visions, a fragmented industry. OpenAI is now seen by some as too corporate. Anthropic, which is a spin-out from OpenAI, is doubling down on safety and alignment. Others favor more open, decentralized models. It's not just about code, of course. It's about values, and increasingly, it's about power. We are witnessing a kind of philosophical arms race between open-source decentralists, cautious ethicists, and commercial innovators. Each faction has its own idea of what safe AI looks like. The question is, can any of them actually deliver it? Another ethical minefield is content moderation. Should AI platforms be neutral tools, or should they actively filter out harmful content? It sounds simple. No one wants hate speech, abuse, or disinformation. But deciding what counts as harmful gets tricky fast. On one side, you have people calling for stronger moderation. On the other, people warning about censorship and centralized control. This debate is playing out in real time, especially on platforms like X. What should stay? What should be taken down? And who gets to decide? The truth is, AI doesn't have ethics. It follows instructions. It optimizes for goals. It doesn't care about context, nuance, or unintended consequences. Which means the real question isn't what AI does. It's what we tell it to do, and who gets to do the telling. It also raises questions about platform accountability. Should tech companies be treated like publishers? Should AI outputs be subject to the same legal scrutiny as journalism or advertising? We're in uncharted territory here. Let's finish with a look at the risks surrounding agentic AI. An agentic AI can set goals, make decisions, interact with apps, tools and systems, and loop until a task is complete. That sounds efficient, but also a little scary. What if it makes a mistake and no one notices until it's too late? For example, imagine you give an AI agent access to your bank accounts and ask it to optimize your budget. It might decide to cancel your insurance, close your pension, or sell your investments to save you money, all without you fully understanding what it's doing. Tools that exist now are already experimenting with this kind of autonomy, and companies like OpenAI and Anthropic are exploring ways to make agentic AI safer, more predictable, and easier to supervise. But the truth is, once you give an AI the power to act independently, the stakes go way up. We're no longer just talking about smart software, we're talking about systems that take initiative. And that's a whole new ethical frontier. It's not hard to imagine a future where agentic AIs are everywhere, from personal assistants managing our lives to autonomous systems running cities. The question here is, how much control are we willing to hand over? So where does this all leave us? AI has incredible potential. It could solve massive problems, unlock human creativity, and make life better for billions. But it could also increase inequality, undermine democracy, and give too much power to too few hands. The difference between those futures isn't technical, it's ethical. We need clear frameworks, transparent practices, and global cooperation. But more than that, we need curiosity. We need more people asking questions, pushing back, and demanding better. Because if we leave the future of AI to the richest, loudest, or fastest, we may not like where it takes us. Next time, we'll look to the horizon, superintelligence, quantum computing, and what it means to build a future alongside machines that might one day outthink us. Thanks for watching. See you in episode 6.